Hello, student. Welcome to the second part of this chapter 4. So, remember, we said that the first part has to do with the planning before the training commences, which is how do we plan by checklist. So, we have to, have all those checklists in place. So, that is before the training commences. The second part now is during training, when the training commences. So, that is the operation part of the training program. It is divided into three, which is opening of the training program, the operation of the training program, and lastly, the closing of the training program. So now, in this first one, in this slide, now we are talking about the guidelines to opening a training program. First guideline says the trainer must ensure that all administrative arrangements are in place. When we talk about administrative arrangements, there's arrangements like telephone calls, email send, filing, and all of those. The second one is the trainer has to work on setting a suitable training climate for the course. Like for instance, when you the first part of the training program, you can begin with perhaps let's say icebreakers, so that everybody that the climate can be of mutual and respect between trainees and the trainers. And three, the trainer must ensure that all the trainees know what the objectives of the training session are, which is very important. For physical and physiological needs must be addressed. Also, that is very important. Like, okay, remember, physiological needs are the ones that has to do with the body. The body gets tired. Is your program allocating for that or catering for such type of needs? Physical needs, we get hungry. Your program, when are people going to go for break and all of that? They must introduce, the speaker must introduce, or the trainer must introduce. So let me make it clear there. There's a mistake here. It says that there. Yes, here. Just here. The trainer must introduce himself. Whether you say the speaker, it's still fine. The trainer must introduce him or herself and the participants as well. The program should be explained. A formal opening should be used. That is, for instance, introduction of a guest speaker. Two, an informal opening also could be used. That is, hosting a social event. So these are the guidelines that you should know. The second part of when now training is going on is the operation part of it. It is sort of like introduction, body, conclusion. Now we are dealing with the body during the training. The operation part of it says that two main sources of problems when operating a program include the trainer and the materials and equipment. The trainer, the materials, and equipment. So in other words, this is a session whereby now the trainer is engaging with the audience. So these are, if you fix this, for instance, the problems could be the trainer becomes ill, or the trainer lack of preparation on the side of the trainer, or lack of a substitute or a backup trainer. So in other words, if the trainer doesn't show up, who will be the substitute? We have to plan for such things. The equipment and material problems entail the following: equipment not functioning properly. So therefore, the person on the checklist who is supposed to deal with the equipment must ensure that everything works properly. Raw material for the course, insufficient copies of material power failure, and all of that. Load shedding. What if it happens? The schedule. Now we have the schedule for load shedding, so we must prepare for such generators and all. Let us go to the next slide and see guidelines for closing the program. So this is the last part of the training, guidelines for closing. If you're now going to close the training program, the closing of the training program should be as well planned as the opening of the program. That is 1. 2, consolidation, reinforcement, that is the summary, should take place. And 3, the trainee should know that the training experience, that is K, new set of KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitude, need to be applied to actual working situation. This is one of mistakes during training. You find that yes, employees come, they attend the training, but and when they go back to their workplaces, they make no difference. It's because of this. They are not made aware that these are the set of skills now that they should use in their immediate working environment. And 4, recognition should be given to participants in the form of attendance certificate to motivate them. Yes, so that it can show that they attended the training. The trainer must be thanked and acknowledged by means of a letter and a report. So these are the guidelines for training program, which is ushering us into the third part of this chapter 4, which speaks about stress, coping with stress. Remember, this is training. People are stressed. It is a stressful kind of situation. So now, in this case, you should just know the differences between stress and burnout. So the definition of stress there says it is a dynamic condition, meaning it changes, in which an individual is confronted with an opportunity, constraint, or demand related to what he or she desires, and for which the outcome or the result is perceived to be both uncertain and important. So it's a situation when you're about to do something which is really, really, really important. So you'd find your body physiological and psychologically so it runs into the stress mode. Then we have what we call burnout. Burnout is a condition which results from prolonged exposure to stress. So now when this stress prolongs so much, it leads to exhaustion of mental and emotional strength. This is whereby now you are left with no strength, emotionally so and mentally so. You are tired, you are tired, you are tired, very tired. It can lead to what you call burnout. It is when an individual feels that too much pressure has been placed on him or her, and that there are no moments of relief at all. So it can lead to an individual suffering from depression and ultimately a mental breakdown. So, since well now we've discussed stress, let's deal with the causes or the sources of stress. We have 3 causes or sources of stress, which is environmental factors regarded as causes of stress, individual factors, and the other part is the enterprise factors. So now let's go back and talk about the environmental factors. We know the environment here, they're talking about the could be the working environment. So the factors that are there that are stress related are changes in the enterprise that will create uncertainties in the economy. New technology innovations that could make the employees' skills useless. Remember when you were doing N4, when we were dealing with changes within a workplace, you'd find employees or individuals resist that kind of change, and they are uncertain because they are concerned with their finances, they are concerned with their jobs. Are they going to lose the job and all of that? So any change that happens, it now causes what we call stress, political uncertainty, noise, and pollution. The second part of this individual factors regarded as causes of stress, which is family and personal relationship problems, economic problems as well here. Personality of the employee is an individual factor. You're a person who stresses a lot, so health also plays an important part here. So let's go to the third part of factors or the causes of stress. These are the enterprise factors regarded as causes of stress. These are divided into task design, role demands, interpersonal demands, enterprise structure, enterprise leadership, enterprise life stage. So task demands, we are talking about the nature of the task. For instance, it includes task variety, level of decision making that the task may require. It is a cause of stress as well. Level of automation. Role demands, pressures that are placed on a person in his or her position. Third one, interpersonal demands. Now, this deals with your fellow employees. For instance, lack of support. And enterprise structure, we are dealing with structural levels, as in levels of authority that run down from top management to the lower bottom of the organization. Rules and regulations, how employees feel about this, it can cause stress and all of those. Enterprise leadership, managerial style of the enterprise. We have different kinds of styles. We have laissez-faire. We have autocratic, especially the autocratic whereby it's forceful. You are too controlled. You are not free as an employee. It can cause stress. There is too much demand about things that are required and all of that. So you'd find it may also cause stress. Then we have enterprise life stages. Now they are talking about 2 stages, whereby the beginning of the enterprise is stressful, and now the decline stage of the enterprise is stressful as well. Let's go to the second last slide of this, whereby we're going to talk about the consequences of stress. And now we describe the general categories of symptoms of stress, where stress is represented. We have physiological symptoms. I already spoken that physiological talks about the body. So this could include changes in metabolism, increases in heart rate, breathing rates, and increased blood pressure. Psychological symptoms include tension, anxiety, irritability, and boredom, and procrastination. I think this answers you as a student why you always delay in terms of study is because you are stressed. It's a psychological symptom. Okay, now we have a behavioral symptom, which includes changes in productivity. In other words, observable kind of symptoms whereby you will see employees being absent all the time, or your company getting high rates of turnover. That is behavioral symptoms of stress.